You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. Now, do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, my God, I'm going to change something. I always say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now, all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind wakened the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.
Rookie mistake, episode 126 on mute. And apologies, a couple of minutes late. I was all set up and I don't know what happened. I did something, I had to change something real quick in the background. But anyway, welcome to Freedom, Health and Lifestyle, Personal Development with a Business Plan. And of course, this is episode 126. Raise your frequency. Joey, I've got some videos that I want to, brief little clips that I want to go through with you and get your comments on them. But look, it's all about thinking and doing better. And we all want better. Everybody wants better, but sometimes we just settle for what we've got. And, Joey, you talked about this before, that, you can be happy with, you can be grateful for what you've got, but you can still want more, right? So we're kind of going to get into a couple of these things. Now, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, click that notification button. You'll learn when we're on, usually around about the same time every week. Of course, you can find me on Facebook. Maybe not. I'm not always there at The Real Mick McQuillan. You can absolutely find Joey on Facebook at joey.unga because he puts out so much content. It's unbelievable. And all positive stuff. And that's what we want. Now, of course, we're going to get Joey's final thoughts at the end as well. But look, my name is Mick McQuillan. It's great to have you here. Don't forget to click that like, subscribe, share, so you know when we're here. Joey, say hello.
Hey, good day, Mike. Good day, everyone. Joey McQuillan here from Sydney, Australia. another week, another Sunday, and so grateful. Today, this weekend was a full on for my side. I have to travel some places, and then I have to go on a cruise today just to celebrate some winning with some group of investors and entrepreneur.
To
But
celebrate
also,
some winning.
yeah.
Celebrate some
So
winning. Oh, I love that.
so it allowed me to give an opportunity to share my story, share some of my wins, because I realized that when you share with people your winning, your challenge, your story, actually in general, you never know. Someone is looking or searching to hear something like that, so that lift them up, and I think our program is one of our goal is to help someone out there to lift them up, to enjoy maybe the health they want to enjoy, maybe the goal they want to achieve. So, and our program every week is to inspire people, empower people to look up or go out there and chase after what they really really want in life.
Absolutely, Joey. And of course, look, the title of this episode is Raise Your Frequency. And, we talk about a lot of these things, but raising your frequency begins with clarity, knowing what you want. And when you have that vision, you can use things like meditation, and prayer, meditation to calm your mind, making that space for, intentional action. Prayer connects you to the gratitude and the sense of something greater, lifting your vibration, because, you got to believe in yourself as well, right? And you can do that through prayer, through meditation, raising your vibration. So when you align, thoughts, then connecting it to that purpose and law of attraction, accepting that stuff into your life. We were just watching it in that video there, act, walk, talk like you're already there, focusing on your desires, and of course, aligning your energy, to your goals, attracting positive experiences. So like, I think, I know we talk about thinking better, doing better, but thinking. If you're thinking about your vision, if you're thinking to a higher kind of creator or purpose or God or whatever else, and you're praying, you're meditating, like you've got to be attracting that stuff to you, Joey. You've got to be. So we're going to watch a couple of videos, but I'll get your thoughts on it first. Raising your frequency. Like, now you can tell your story from your hospital bed if you like, because that's some of where your starting point is, So how did you raise your frequency? How did you level up, Joey?
Yeah, you're so right. It's come from the clarity, which is, decide what you really, really want in life, and like you said, I experience in life that desperation is some of the trigger that make people raise their frequency, or lacking. Some people they lacking of having maybe the health they want, or have the financial they want, or lacking in financial rewarding in life. And that's I use my example, my story. I was unhealthy, overweight, and a lot of things that I was disappointing about myself, about my situation, and to get to a point that my health was the problem. So because my health has trigger me to go into a mode that I my health situation, I got a health scared, and from there I opened my eyes and realized, man, if I need my health to change, I have to change everything, and that's the clarity that come with the situation that happened to me. For things to change, I have to change. For things to getting better, I have to get better. And how I can do that, it's just decide what you really really want, whether you want to continue on the same journey or pathway and end up like my kid doesn't have a father, or or my wife will don't have a husband. You can choose whatever you want in life, but whatever you choose, make sure it's aligned with your heart, with your goal, with your value. You know, when you look at the mirror, who do you look? Do you look about yourself, or you look about someone else? And that come with clarity. Clarity is decided what you really, really want, you know. And that decision came from, I know exactly what I need to do is to work on my health first, and then health come my action in regard to the other area of my life, and the rest is history. So yeah, when I decided to do that, work on my health, when I improve my health, the quality of my health, I start to improve the quality of my energy. And that's the frequency. You know, I show up more. You know, I I help more people. You know, and I travel places. So, you know, clarity, decision making, and put some action into what you learn about yourself, about others, about the opportunity that come with this world. Then you take action about it and stay consistently. You know, someday we're all human. You know, our frequency is a little bit low, but it's like with everything else. When the car is running low on petrol, the only thing to make sure it's keep going is to fill up the car. You know, raise the vibration. You know, keep going. So yeah, that's my takeaway on that one. And
To be honest, you're making a lot of sense.
Bob mentioned in our video.
No, carry on, Joey. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, Bob mentioned in our video, you know, yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I thought you were mute for a second. So, but yeah, Bob mentioned, you know, yeah, Bob mentioned in the video that we watched, this is, you know, act, walk, and talk. You know, it's another way of raising your frequency is to stay on that frequency and that energy level. You know, and sometimes we're human. You know, and you experience, I experience. You know, but we just like they said, if you get off from the horse, you have to get back. You know, if you fall down, you know, now we learn. It's good to fall down. It's part of the process to make some mistake, or, you know, experience some failure or some hardship or some challenge, but fall forward and just get up, dust it off, keep going. Otherwise, you won't experience the frequency that you want in life.
It's interesting because when you're talking about health, you know, like you're talking about, you know, your physical health to begin with, right? But it didn't, you know, that physical health wasn't the first thing to change. It was the mental health that had to change first, the decision to change. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, and, you know, and as a result, Joey, your health has improved, you know, physically, mentally, and financially. You know, you've got better financial health now than you ever had before. You've got better mental health now than you ever had before. Not just, you know, thinking positive, but also feeling positive. It's what you were just talking about just then. And of course, you know, you've got better physical health than you had before. You know, you play tennis, you do different things. You know, you're in the army, you know, doing maneuvers and all kinds of different things. These things that you wouldn't have, couldn't have considered or maybe even possibly done before, you know, before you made that committed decision, you know, to change. And it's amazing. You know, talk about raising your frequency, you know, from being where you were to where you are now. Oh my God, you know, how many levels is that? I don't know. It's a lot of levels, you know? So yeah, incredible. And, you know, just in case anybody's wondering, you know, Joey's name is the $1 Million Difference Maker, Makaonga, right? Just in case anybody's forgotten, that's what it is, right? So we'll get into some of these videos anyway. We'll have a little listen, and I'll get your thoughts.
Substitute teacher from Ireland in the 2nd grade that told my class during morning prayer that when she wants something, anything at all, she prays for it and promises something in return, and she always gets what she wants. Well, I'm sitting at the back of the classroom thinking, wow, my family can't afford a bike. So I went home and I prayed for one, and I promised I would recite the rosary every night in exchange. Broke that promise. But 2 weeks later, I got home from school to find a brand new Mustang bike with a banana seat and Easy Rider handlebars. My family informed me that I had won the bike in a raffle that a friend of mine had entered my name in without my knowledge whatsoever. So that type of thing has been happening to me ever since. As far as I can tell, it's just about letting the universe know what you want and working toward it while letting go of how it comes to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head. And when the door opens in real life, just walk through it.
All right, Joe, what do you think to that?
Man, that's very powerful. This is that Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
That guy, I think he gave me an idea, and my wallet is not here. But I think he one of his idea, it's like how you use the prayer, power of prayer. And as you are aware, and our audience aware, my background is Christian, and we grew up, and the value of being a Christian is part of it is communication with God through prayers. And when you are young, you're not very pay attention to it. But then as we learn in our personal development and our growth as a human, we realize that our words is very powerful. Even though sometimes we say something without realizing that it have an impact in ourselves and then in others. And it's and I remember everything. My mom was a strong Catholic, and rosary was part of the ritual that we do every morning. And my mom wake up us all up in the morning, and at still young age, I didn't know what or understand what she was doing, but she was instilling us the power of prayer. It's the power of visualization, like thinking that God is your ultimate father. You wake up in the morning, and for some reason they are no longer with us now. But everywhere you go, I take that with me, because every in the morning I woke up, thanks thing I do, I just give my gratitude. I said, God, thank you for allowing me to live for another day, so that I can make a positive impact in someone else's life. And even say things like that, it's very powerful, because that's how another form of raising your frequency is communicating the vision, the goal, the feeling that you want for other people and yourself. You say out loud, and said, God, like Jim Carrey said, you want to have a bike, but he knew that the family can't afford to buy a bike. So he just say it out loud. He's like, God, I want to have a bike. But in his mind, he didn't know. That's why Bob said, all you have to do is decide what you really want. You don't know. You don't have to know how to do it. Just say it. Say it. In entrepreneur world now, you say yes and tell the world. And that's what we do. We share with other people what we do, because we because we want to raise our frequency. And the more we talk about it, share our story, share our passion, share what we try to build, the more our frequency is rising up to a level, it's connected. So when it's connected, and for some reason, like you talk about it, whether it's God or universe or the ultimate infinity or whatever, when it's connected, for some reason, it will come to you. And that's why I have my gold card with me. And I remember, I think maybe Jim Carrey too, he wrote a check or the amount of money that he will earn, and he put it in his wallet. So I did that. I put it on I have a special dollar in my wallet that I wrote the amount of money that I want to achieve. And every now and then I do some badges and with my credit card, and I just saw my note with my amount of money there. It's not happened yet, but in my mind, it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. But doing that,
there's another story similar to that, Joey. In the book, The Secret. The guy who wrote Chicken Soup for the Soul. He had a check he put a check on his ceiling. And
he looked at
so that when he woke up in the morning, he could see this check. and it was for $1 million or something like that. And he said, I didn't make $1 million that year. He said, I made 993,900 and something dollars. He said, but it's like, he said, but he did it from nothing, you know? So, and you can actually go onto that website, you know, if you just put in the secret check into Google, you know, there's a check that you can actually print out and you can write on it what the universe is going to give you this, you know, like, you know, this stuff, no doubt, it does work, you know, and it's a form of meditation. It's a form of prayer, you know, like when I think about, I'm so happy and grateful now that I am this, do you know what I mean? You know, and when you say I am, you know, your subconscious mind, you know, even if you're not that yet, but your subconscious mind wants to, you know, control everything, your environment, to move you in that direction, because you're saying, I am. You know, like if you're saying, oh, I am happy, I am sad, you know, I am angry or whatever, it's very easy to go into those it's very easy to go into that lower vibration, Joey. Very easy to do that. But to get into the higher vibration, just like you were talking about, where you're saying, you know, thank you. Thank you for giving me another day to be able to make a difference in somebody else's life. You know, and immediately you're raising your vibration, you're setting the intention for the day, and it's absolutely beautiful, Joe. Amazing.
Yeah, I'll share a little bit of experience from my weekend. I bought a ticket and I made a mistake, wrong ticket last year, so the ticket was non-refundable. So I have to use the ticket. I have the option whether I'll take the flight or just ignore it, and I lost like $250. My wife told me, just go, use the ticket, you know, because, and we have an event today, was a cruising around the harbor, and I didn't want to miss that. But the ticket was ideally to go yesterday on Saturday and come back today at nighttime. So I only moved the ticket to only one day. So I go in the morning, come back in the afternoon. And why I'm sharing this, because we just talk about the what we put it out by intention through prayers. I woke up that morning and I said, God, I'm about to fly to Melbourne. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to live another day, and please allow me to make an impact in other people's life. And I went there. I forgot about what I prayed, but when I came back, and now it's really clear to me, you know, I went to a little town and saw a friend of mine, and after we spoke, I went to get something to eat, and then I went around the town, the shopping area, and just have a look around. And as I look around, I didn't feel like hungry, but the ideally was to go there to get something to eat. There was a little boy. He came on a bike, and he said to me, "Hey, Mister, I just want to ask you if you have $1 so I can buy something to eat." And I was shocked with this little boy, you know, and and I asked him, where's your parents? And he said, oh, he told me he's only live with his mother. He's have a stepdad. And I said, do you have sibling? And he said, no. I have sibling, but they're older than me. Then they're no longer with me. So I said to him, okay, I don't have cash with me. I don't have money with me to give you so I can take it. But here was what I do. You really hungry? He said to me, yeah. So what do you want? He said, maybe a chicken burger will do. And I took the little boy. I said, come. So I bought the chicken burger and I gave it to him, and he said, enjoy it and go home and look after yourself. And he said, thank you, mister. I'm very grateful for you. And he left. Didn't pay me. So I went to another town and then to visit one of my family members, or my wife's family. And then I took my wife's uncle. So, and I took him in for lunch, and I paid for the lunch, and I come back, and I came back last night. But then I said to myself, man, how many people did I make an impact today? you know, but it's when your frequency is aligning with your goals in life, want to make the universe will send, to show up the people, sometimes just to show up to make sure that you are still on that frequency and to see how
tested, Joey. The universe tests you, like the universe sent a little child to test you, to see if you were true to your purpose, to what you're praying for, or what you're meditating on, whatever way you want to look at it. And that's what Jim Carrey was saying in that video. He was saying, look, you can create the door in your mind, but when the door in reality opens, you've got to walk through it. And that was the opportunity that was given to you. Like, okay, here's someone that you can make a difference for, and then you have a choice to make. Do you know what I mean? What am I going to do? Am I going to walk through that door, or am I going to turn my back on it and walk away?
Yeah.
And but sometimes we don't always see it, do we? We don't always see it for what it is. And it's those little things, it's those little things, because, you can help one person today, and 2 people, and 3 people, and 4 people, and then before you know it, your impact on them they then start impacting other people. Do you know what I mean? And that's through you that's happening. Or it's through you that it's happened.
Yeah.
And I think a little bit of kindness can go a long way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A little bit of gratitude can go a long way.
It's funny. It was not stopped there. I came for my uncle. I took him for lunch, and then I came to the airport. And while I was waiting for my flight, I look at it as a bookshop, and I said, "Oh, I like books. I want to buy something." So I went around and have a look at them. So I chose one books, and then when I came to pay him, there was a little kid in front of me with a packet of chips and I think a chocolate bar, and the cash register lady was serving him, and I heard the lady said, "I'm sorry, but the money is not enough." So he got $10, but I think that the purchase was more than $10, like another extra $2. So I said to the lady, I was standing there, and I was like, okay. And I said to the lady, don't worry, I'll pay for it. And the lady said to me, so I'll refund you the $10, and then the rest, of the outstanding, like maybe $2, I'll refund it there too. And I said, no. You give the money back to the little boy, and let him take the goods. I'll pay for the rest of it with my book. And the lady looked in the face and said, oh, okay. And the little boy went. So I bought, but here's the thing: I bought the book, then I came and sit down on the table. But then the little boy came again, and he came and said to me, "Mister, you're the one that helped me," and I kind of tried to pretend that I'm not. And I said, "Which one?" And he said, You helped me pay my mom tell me to come and say thank you to you." And he's pointed at the mother on the other side. He was waving at me and he go like this. They're Indian. Anyway, after the little boy went, there was another person look at me, and I was smiling at him. And he was from another island close to Tonga, but living in New Zealand. So we have a conversation, and something in me, the book that I bought was about communication. And something in me just tell me, just give the book to him. Because, and we have a conversation, and he told me he come visit, live in New Zealand, come and visit some friend. And I said to him, look, I'm happy that we connect, and also we have this conversation, but I don't have any good things for you because you come from New Zealand, I live in Australia. I bought this book. I just want to read it because the topic is look interesting to me, but I think it's better more interesting for you because he's a preacher, he's a pastor in one of the churches in New Zealand. And he was looking at me with the socks and he said, "Why?" And I said, No, I just thought to anything good with me. I asked him if I can offer him a coffee, and he said, "I'm okay. I just had coffee." But I said, "Okay, maybe you can take the book as a reminder of our of our friendship that we met. Maybe we're never gonna meet again, but this book, I hope that we will remember me for that." He was looking me in the eye and he said, "Bless you, brother." And like now we're talking about those things. But it's amazing how when you have intentionally go out there and try to live the values, the thing that you want to achieve in life by helping other people. Sometimes it doesn't come through the business that you build, but it comes in a different forms. And I think maybe it's testing you, maybe it's give you the opportunity to see whether you really align with what you really want to do in life.
Yeah.
And for me, I always believe that one of my big philosophies, the blessing is coming from giving. And I feel like I have more abundance when I came back home yesterday. That I hope I make an impact in other people's life.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can just find this, Joe. Because there was a video that I wanted to download, but I couldn't download it. It wouldn't let me download it. So let me see if I can share this, right? Because this is a lot of what you're talking about, a little bit of what you're talking about. Hold on. Let me just share this. Okay. Where's that? Hold on. Why is that not sharing? Hold on. Add to stage.
Growing and giving. Two things will make you happy: growing and giving. They're the only thing that give you lasting happiness. If you're not growing, you will not be happy. If you grow, you'll be happy, but the best part of growing is everything in the universe either grows or it dies. Is it true? If your relationship is not growing, it's dying. If your business is not growing, don't bullshit yourself, it's dying. There's no plateaus in life. We grow or we die. That is the universal rule of the universe, not Tony Robbins' rule. But there's something beautiful about it. When we grow, we become more. And when we become more, we have more to give. And when we give is when our life has the most meaning. See, what you get will not make you happy. Who you become will make you very happy or very sad. So if you want an extraordinary life, here's what I've learned. To have an extraordinary life, you have to become a creator, not a manager of your circumstances. My goal above all else is have you leave here where you have a compelling future and you're moving towards something that's the extraordinary life you want, and that you've made progress while you're here, massive progress. But also what I want to make sure is you have a clear idea of what you need to become for a lasting life of success and fulfillment and joy and happiness. And that is changing from what most people are. Most people settle. Most people are managing what's going on, managing their head, managing their emotion. They're not mastering it. If you master yourself, you become a creator. We were all created by something. I don't know what you believe, and I'm not here to tell you what you believe religiously. But how many know something created you? Make some noise if you got that. Call it God, call it the universe, call it whatever you want to call it. We were made for something, and we were made to create. We can create love or we can create pain. We can create joy or anger and rage. And every moment you have the ability to create. And it doesn't matter what happens in the outside world. If you have the outside will control you, then you're part of the culture and you will suffer. You're one of the many. If you're a leader, you create your own culture. You decide how your business is going to be, how you're going to be, how your family's going to be, regardless of what other people think or say. There's something inside you that decides, that owns it, that has an autonomy beyond any conditioning you've had in your life.
No, very
So,
powerful.
Joey, that kind of epitomizes what you were saying, especially what he was talking about at the end, that you were making decisions, like, buying a sandwich for a little kid. Do you know what I mean? You're choosing to say yes. You're choosing to do something. You're being in a shop, you can see that a little kid doesn't have enough money, and you make a decision to step in and make a difference. Do you know what I mean? And that came back to you, by, him telling his mother and everything else, and then having another story. These are actions that you're taking. They're not just happening to you. They're happening through you, because of the things the way that your intention, is for that day. You're making these things happen. It's incredible. It's wonderful. We're talking about raising your frequency, and you're just showing examples of, raising it, in the moments. And you can raise it in the moment. You don't have to, start the day and go, right, I'm going to be up here. Just as you say, your day goes up and down. You're talking about, like driving your car and you're running out of juice, running out of fuel, well, then you've got to fill yourself up, haven't you? You've got to fill your own cup up, and you do that through your actions, like you could have been a meanie and said, go and get a scram, kid. Do you know what I mean? Go and get your own, get your mum to make you a sandwich. Do you know what I mean? Or you could have just, watched that lady at the till, just, have that kid just walk away with his head down. Do you know what I mean? All upset that, like he couldn't have it, and, feeling alone. Do you know what I mean? And his mum having to deal with that situation. Like, oh my God, like someone else being upset, like she's upset because he's upset. None of that happened. You made a difference. Your intention for that day to go and make a difference, your prayer for that day is, give me the opportunity to help some people, and Jesus, they're queuing up in front of you, Joey.
They never lack of that's where you find the energy. Just where you find the energy, like Tony Robbins said, if you're not growing, you're not happy. Over time. So, and very true. The two ways to experience health, happiness in life is growing. Never stop growing. Invest in yourself. Go out there and help someone else, or maybe give something, like and not only not basically for money or the physical being, but you can share your story with someone, share how you get through the challenge in life. You can share with other people your small win, whether you win a prize or you take someone out there. And today, in one of my posts is I was very happy. I bought a ticket for our cruising today with a group of investors. And it was ideally to take one of my family members with me, but they're all busy. So I was looking around to offer that opportunity for someone. Then guess what? I found someone that we keep a relationship a long time. And I told him after we met today, one of my vision board is to able to fly learn to fly, not become a pilot, but learn how to fly an aeroplane. It's something that I want to achieve in my life. And I put that on my
Oh, lost Joey. Don't know where he's gone. I'm sure he'll be back. Hold on a second. Obviously, he was clicking something on his phone. Not to worry. He'll be back in a second. I'm certain of it. But I'm curious to find out more about him wanting to learn to fly a plane. If you've ever done that, I'd love to hear it. Let us know in the chat. I've done it. My wife bought me, is it a gift card to go and fly a plane? It was fun. It was interesting. Like they don't let you take off or land, but they let you fly around when you get into the air. It's kind of fun. We flew around this lighthouse thing, it's down in Cork in Ireland. So we took off from Cork Airport, flew towards the east, over towards Waterford, around a lighthouse, and then flew back again. It was a lot of fun. I think didn't seem that difficult, but I wasn't landing or taking off. Do you know what I mean? I was just flying, and the guy was just keeping a close eye on me. What you're supposed to do. All right. Well, listen. Look, what we'll do is while we're waiting for Joey to get on, if he can get back on, is we're going to watch the next video. Right. So we'll see, and we'll get Joey's thoughts once he gets back.
Of meditation is to raise your frequency so that you can connect to source and be anchored in the state of oneness, which is a state of pure bliss, pure consciousness, pure awareness. The real purpose of meditation, thus, is enlightenment, self-realization, spiritual liberation, and freedom on all levels and all dimensions. That's the purpose. The purpose is to connect to source so that you can be anchored in that state of perpetual bliss, so that even though you might experience pain in life, you never suffer.
Joe, are you back?
Yeah, my apology for that.
You're fine.
Not
You're
sure.
fine.
Decided to restart.
Of course, yeah, I hate it when that happens, you know? But listen, you were telling a story about your vision board and about flying. What was that about?
Yeah, the person that I invited today was he's a pilot, and I told him that it's funny coincidence that one of the things that I want to do in life is to fly, able to fly one day, and for some reason we were able to connect, and then we lost connection for a while, and then he reached out to me while I was looking for someone to come with me to the cruise. And I said to him, he want to ask me a few questions about the army, because he's considered doing as a part-time from flying. And I said, yeah, I could help you. I could answer some question to you. But what do you do on Sunday, this Sunday? And he said, nothing. I got nothing. And I said, look, I got a ticket free to come with me on one of our cruising with our group of investors. If you're free, you can come there and we can talk about anything that you want to ask me again. And he did. He came. And then I realized he's already got a qualified commercial pilot. And I said to him, man, this world is amazing, because, and I showed him my vision board. How can I make this? Bear with me, Mike. I showed him my vision board and I said to him, look, this is my vision board. I'm not sure whether it's see that man there?
Yeah.
That's a pilot. And I just put there, something that I want to achieve one day, because most of the things that I put in my vision board, I have accomplished them.
Yeah.
But one of them was a pilot. And it's funny how that's where I want to raise my frequency to words. For some reason, it will show up. People will show up in your life, and those people, they won't be able to give me, how to, but they might be to help me, direct me in the right
Connect
path.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, connect me.
Connect
Yeah.
you. Because that's what it's about. It's about connections, Joey. It is about connections. And it's about making connections, keeping connections, sharing connections, pointing people in directions, and it does it comes back. It comes back to you, and that's why, when I think about, the circulation of money, when I'm giving money away, I'm circulating it, because it's going to come all the way back to me from somewhere else. And it's the same with your intention. Like, if you're circulating good intentions, what's going to come back to you? Good intentions. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you're going to meet some idiots along the way. There always will be. Do you know what I mean? But you don't focus on them. You've got to focus on the things that you want. You talk about this. Intentionally act on the things that you want. Talking to him, about, wanting to learn how to fly a plane and everything else. He's probably the best person that can tell you how to do that, right? Certainly where to go to do it. And, have you ever flown a plane?
No. Now he's offering.
My wife taught me like a thing to do it, Yeah, and it was fun. You don't get to take off or land. Do you know what I mean? But they fly up, and then you get to take over flying the plane, and you just fly around.
He's offering me that. So he's offering me that. He tell me,
amazing.
One day I'll take you for a fly. And I was shocked, and I didn't expect that from him. But I was sharing my excitement with him, because this is one of the things that I'm thinking and I want to do one day, is to able to fly a plane.
Yeah.
And he show up in my life, and it's funny because I keep the connection with him. And in one state he was in Indonesia, and one state he was in America. But then he told me, Joey, when you contact with me, I was in America. I didn't tell you, but I went and learned how to fly over there. And but he told me, since I met you, you're one of the people, in my birthday, you singing me happy birthday. And when I decided that I'm thinking maybe I'm, in my spare time as a pilot, I wanted to join the army, because he wanted to join the Air Force, but for some reason he didn't make it. And that's why we connect. And the first person come to my mind, to his mind, it was me. And that's why he would reach out to me. I need someone to take with me to the cruise, because I bought a ticket, and I asked a few colleagues at work, but they all were busy. And then when he messaged me, just coincident, he was free too. And he said to me, it's funny, Joey, how it's all working, And I saw him what I was in my vision board, and he said to me, "Damn, God is good."
Well, let's watch this video and let's see if any of this makes sense.
To attract what you want, you've got to see yourself already with it.
You become what you think about. You become what you think about.
The best piece of advice that I ever received is that you are what you think about.
I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe that you can speak things into existence.
One that changed my life was the Secret, the law of attraction, the book on the law of attraction.
And the law of attraction says that anything that you keep holding your mind on a continuing basis, you draw to you. That your dominant thoughts set up a force field of energy that draws into your life the people and circumstances that you need. I mention that because of this. Many people say, well, how will I get a better job or a better relationship? How will I find the information I need or get the education and so on? You don't have to worry about it. All you have to do is get it crystal clear in your mind, and you trigger into and get into the flow of these universal mental laws, and everything that you need will be brought to you exactly as you need it, exactly when you need it, and exactly in the form that you need it.
Right, what do you think to that, Joe?
Man, damn, that's a very good video. I think we can use that for the close of tonight.
But to be honest, like what you're talking about is the law of attraction, but you set the intention, right? You do. You set the intention. I set the intention, and then you attract what you're thinking about. But your intention is what's being attracted to. Like if I'm an arsehole, I'm going to attract more arseholes. Do you know what I mean? But if I'm thinking, if my intention is focusing on my vision board, seeing myself, having those things, doing those things, being that person, growing into that person, like. If that's my intention, what's likely to happen? If that's what I'm praying for, if that's what I'm meditating on, what's likely to happen? Is it likely that things are going to get worse? Well, we know from, Acres of Diamonds and, all these types of stories that you're going to be tested. You're going to be tested. Do you know what I mean? But it's how you respond to that. How you dig in and how you push on. We were talking about failure, and things like this, because you are going to fail, especially when you put yourself out there. You get tested. And then sooner or later, the universe decides, listen, this guy's not giving up. Let's just give him what he wants, right? Yeah. And then everybody thinks that that it was easy for you. It wasn't easy. It's hard, but it started with a decision, a committed decision to change, And certainly when we were at the beginning, when you're talking about health, even if it is, and to be honest, listen, we'll get onto this in a second. We'll watch this last video, right? And, and even though this video is a little bit more businessy, when you think about it from the perspective of, just thinking about what it is that you want, not how you're going to get there, not how you're going to do it, but what it is you want, what you were talking about. So we'll just watch this and then we'll wind it up and get Joey's final thoughts, because I love hearing what Joey has to say, because, like clearly, he's a difference maker, right?
$1 million to you over the course of your career. This one piece of advice is people don't care what your product is. They don't care about you. They don't care about your company. They don't care about the background of your company, and they don't even care what the product is. People don't care. The only thing they care about is what this product or service does for me. What do I get? What's in it for me? And what they want is they want a change in their life. They want an improvement in their life, a result, a benefit, or highest of all is a transformation. They want to be transformed. 15% of buying behavior is determined by the past. 85% of buying behavior is determined by the anticipated future. What is going to happen as a result of me buying? So, as we say, if you are selling a tour to the Canary Islands, spend 90% of your time talking about the destination and only 10% talking about the plane that you fly to the Canary Islands in. Most salespeople spend 90% of their time talking about the plane and only 10% of the time talking about the destination. Imagine if you went to a travel agent and you said, I want to take a vacation to the Canary Islands, and they said, well, let me show you how this plane works. And they take out a diagram of the airplane you're going to fly on, and how you walk up the rampway, and where you sit, and the food they serve, and the movie. You think, I don't want to hear about this. I just want to know about the islands and the palm trees and the ocean and the warm water and so on. So talk 90% about the change that will take place in the customer's life. Customers only buy improvement. The reason they buy is that they feel that the quality and quantity of the improvement will be greater than the cost and the trouble of using it or learning how to use it.
Right, tie that into your vision board, Joey. You know, when you think about 85% of people buy, you know, for a future, you know, transformation, you know, like you're selling yourself. Every time you look at your vision board, you're literally selling yourself your dream. And then you have to buy into it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think one of the things that he clearly stated there is the outcome, is the what it can do for you. And I think the same thing that the customer, when, you know, it's all learning experience for all of us too, even professional, they still have, when they review their progress and their journey, they realize they still have a lot of things to improve. And I think for myself, that's one of the things in my professional, in my business, that I need to improve, is to how you make the customer feel. And I think when I talk about my story about maybe buying a lunch for someone today, that you never met, that kid will remember that little kind of act that from a stranger that I might never see this kid in my life. And the same with the one in the airport, but I think you plant a seed that maybe when they grow up one day and they stand behind the little kids, same different little kids in front, and they remember there was a stranger who did the same thing. And I think, in related to business, it's the same thing. People will not, don't care about, your company or what you do or what. They just want to know how the product or how you make them feel on that day. What can Joey share that transform something in my mind and my feeling that allow me to act so I can get the benefit or the transformation or the change.
And one of the things, Joey, when I'm talking to, prospects, is I talk about, what their current situation is and then what they want it to be like. Do you know what I mean? And how, we can help do that. And we build a vision for them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Literally create it. So that, hold on. I feel like I'm going to sneeze. You ever get that way? You feel like you're going to sneeze. You can feel it building.
Look at the light.
Nearly blew my head off. But yeah, so we would kind of do that. Do you know what I mean? And years and years ago, when I used to do a lot of direct selling, and I used to go into people's homes and, with a product, and it used to always be about the vision, building the vision of what they were going to look and feel like, how they were going to dress, how they were going to wear, how they were going to walk into this event, and people would be like, "Oh my God, you look amazing," and how would that make you feel? And feeling that feeling, and then connecting it to that vision, like you're already there, and the amount of success that they got, that people got, was incredible because they believed, because they could feel it, before it even happened. It's this subconscious trick. It's like a what do they call it? It's like a hack. Do you know what I mean? You're hacking your brain. You're hacking your metaphysical state. Do you know what I mean? And you can do that. The vision board helps you to do that. Prayer helps you to do that. Meditation helps you to do that. And if you do it consistently, the universe conforms to give you these opportunities to make difference in people's lives. Do you know what I mean? The door opens, as Jim Carrey says, and you just walk straight through it, Joey. So listen, I want to hear Joey's final thoughts, and then we'll close up after that. And right, Joey, listen, take it away. I want to hear what you've got to say. Hold on, give me 1 second. I want to.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks everyone. If you're watching this or watching the replay, we just wanted to let you know that we really, really appreciate you. You must be watching this because you must be searching or looking for something. And tonight, our episode, we talk about raising your frequency. And frequency is another simple term for energy. How you use your thoughts. The way you think. And one of the videos that we just listened to, it's so true. You become what you think about all day long. If you think about abundance and prosperity, it won't happen overnight, but it will happen over time as you go and you work and you do the action, you do the working on yourself, on your goals. It will definitely happen. But raising your frequency, it's not easy. It sounds simple, but it takes time. It takes dedication. Bob talk about it. You can change it, but it takes guts. It takes courage. It takes goals to raise your frequency to the level that align with your goals, your vision, and what you really want. And we talk about a lot about tonight. How we connect to our vibration or frequency of what we really want in life. For example, I use my story. I wake up every day, and one of the things that I share in my life, in my posts, or in my prayer in the morning is, God allow me to be a person that make a positive impact in other people's life. And I went through my day without realizing that God had put people in front of me to see if I really, really want to match my energy, my frequency with my values or my goals. And thank God I do it constantly, knowing that someone is unfortunate, and I have the blessing that I can afford to share something with that person. Maybe he's a little kid, maybe he's an old man, a stranger. But then I realized that, man, that's to living a happy life and a purpose and fulfilling life. You have to grow and also giving at the same time. And growing is knowing that you improve maybe 1% every day. Maybe yesterday you didn't feel good about yourself. Today, I'm saying out loud, I like myself. I like myself. I like myself. I like other people. And it's like that. The idea is to do something that raise your frequency, raise your energy level. Maybe work on your health. Start walking every day. Start putting the right nutrition in your body. Start to add value to people's life by maybe with your smile, maybe if you give something, maybe if you share some ideas, share some solution with other people that they're looking for something in life. And tonight, we just hear a lot of great mentor, Tony Robbins, Jim Carrey, who is the other guy? A few of them that tonight. The word is slipping my head. The one who talking about the destination, and it's so true. You know what I learned in my experience. I think Mike can relate it. It's when I spoke to people don't really care where I come from. You know, whether my English is broken, they are looking to see if something that come out from my mouth will help them, you know, move forward in life, or will help them to, you know, have joy or found peace or found love or found happiness by the things that I share with them. So in our journey, myself and Mike, you know, as an entrepreneur, our job is to show the vision to people, you know, show the possibility, the potential with people, and not all of the people want to listen, want to take in the information that we share, but we know there is a lot of people out there. They are dying, they are looking, they are thirsty for the information that we have, for maybe for the opportunity or the vehicle that we found in our journey. And our job is to educate people to a point they understand, so they can make better decisions, they can make committed decisions and go out there and get what they really want in life. So as we wrap up tonight, we just want to say thank you for each and every one of you that are watching our show, and maybe show likes or maybe comments or maybe recommend it to other people, because you are paying forward of what we do. And I think Mike agree that one of our ultimate wish, not only that make an impact in positive impact in your life from our program or what we share with our story, but just that you able one day to pay it forward to other people, share it with other people, you know, tell it to other people, so that they may be able to improve the quality or the level of their energy to match their frequency in life. So I hope we add value in some way. They could care, you know, be kind to each other, and always look for the good in everything. I love you all. This is Joye Makaunga here from Sydney, Australia, and my good friend and business partner Mike McKillen, all the way from Ireland. Good night and good day.
Joey, love it, Joey. Couldn't say it better myself, to be honest. You know, and what you're talking about there is you're doing things for yourself, but not by yourself. You know, and that's really what life is about. You know, it's about helping other people. You know, it really is. And you know, the more people that you can help, the better your life is. You know, it just is. And that's where real growth comes from. You know, that's where, you know, where you start to learn about yourself, and, you know, empathy and gratitude. You know, like, you know, the stories that you're telling tonight, you know, you see how the way that the universe rewards you know, your behavior, you know, your attitude. And you're absolutely right. There's no doubt that you will have planted a little seed in that little boy's mind, you know, whether it's the little boy standing at the till, or whether it's the little boy looking for a sandwich. You know, when he gets to of a certain age and a similar thing happens to him, or he's in a similar situation, he's going to remember, and he's going to know the difference between right and wrong in that moment. You know, the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. And, you know, maybe he'll do the wrong thing, and then he's going to, you know, have to deal with his own conscience, you know, because, you know, the creator, God, will give you a kick up the backside, you know, and that's the guilt that we feel sometimes, knowing that we could have done something better, or we should have done better, we should have behaved better, you know, and that's why we have that guilt. That's why we feel that guilt, you know, and it's to serve you, to remind you to be better. And that's really what we want. And, you know, like the stories that you've told tonight, you know, when I think about, you know, invite a guy along to, you know, to come with you to something for a day out, so that he can ask you the questions that he wants, and he's that grateful that he's like, what he wants to do is give you what you want, you know, and that's the way that's currency, Joey.
Yeah,
that's energy flow. Do you know what I mean? You know, so you got to love that kind of stuff. So listen, you know, look, you're watching Joey, the $1 million difference maker, Maka Unga, right? Tell his story. You know, why would no one want to hear that? I love it. In fact, we should change difference maker to difference maker. You know, that's what it should be, right? I love it. Right. Amazing, Joey. You're a superstar. You know, there's a reason why I love, you know, this call on a Sunday for me, because it's just inspirational. Because you know, you are doing exactly what Bob Proctor has preached about, you know, to walk, talk, act like you're already there, you know, to be that person, you know, act like that person that you want to become. That's what you're doing. And you're growing into that person on a daily and weekly basis. You know, like we can all see it in real time, and it's beautiful. Joey, you're amazing. You know, keep doing what you're doing, you know, and like Joey says, look, intentionally act on the thing that you want. If you've not got a vision board, get one. Get one and start focusing on it. Right. See you guys next week.
You see, we are created in a magnificent vibration, in an absolutely magnificent vibration. Born risk takers. Free. That conditioning takes place after birth. You can change it. It takes guts. It takes goals. How do you know something? You're sitting there watching this and you're thinking, by God, I'm going to change something. Now we say, keep reminding yourself that you have tremendous reservoirs of potential within you, and therefore you are quite capable of doing anything you set your mind to. You really can. I don't care what the cynics tell you. Quit listening to some of your peers. Now all you must do is figure out how you can do it, not whether you can or not. When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? You've got to create a sense of urgency. I'm going to do it right now.
If you can see it, you can do it. But the beautiful truth is you can do anything. We got to know there is a place. There is a specific frequency. And if you get on that frequency, you're going to attract what you need to you. This is what it's all about. Why have you been endowed with such awesome powers? If you'll make a committed decision, this I'm going to do. And you don't have to know how. You do not have to know how. The second you make the committed decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to attract what you have to attract to manifest the thing that you want. If you can see it, you can do it. It's got to be something you want. Wants come from inside. Act like you're already there. Walk, talk, speak, live like you're already there. Don't set a small goal. Don't set something that doesn't really wind your stem. Set it so big it jazzes you. It really gets you going. When something of a very high nature resonates with the very high side of you, you'll know it. You'll know it. You will feel it. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. The only prerequisite, do you want it? Not do you need it, not could you do it. The only prerequisite is, do you want it? Take the lid off your marvelous mind and dream. For goodness sake, give yourself the right to do that. Get your analytical mind out of the way. Put it in your pocket for a while. All you're doing is exploring, daydreaming. What did Lawrence say? All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their mind waken the day to find that it was vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act their dream with open eyes to make it possible. This I did.